Most governments deny it, some classify it, some wait decades. Brazil didn't wait. The morning after the most extraordinary night in the country's aviation history, the Minister of Aeronautics stood in front of cameras and confirmed it. 21 unidentified objects, chased by 5 fighter jets. Real. Clear signs of intelligent control. His words, on the record. This is the story of what happened the night before, and the question nobody has answered since. Why did they tell the truth? May 19, 1986, 9 p.m. A radar operator at Sindacta, Brazil's Air Defense Command, notices something over São José dos Campos. Luminous contacts, no flight plan, no transponder, no identity. Within minutes, the contacts multiply. They spread across the radar grid, moving south toward São Paulo, toward Rio de Janeiro, toward the most populated corridor in the country. They move in formation, change altitude in sync, as if coordinated. Military command tracks them for over an hour. The objects show no sign of leaving. Then they enter restricted airspace, scramble the jets. Lieutenant Kleber Caldas Moreno lifts off in an F-5E Tiger. A Mirage follows. Then 3 more. 5 aircraft, armed and authorized, sent into the dark to intercept something with no name. That same night, Osiris Silva, president of Embraer, is aboard a VASP King Air when he sees them. From the cockpit window, solid points of light, moving in ways no aircraft he's ever built could move. He reports it immediately. This is not a weather anomaly. This is something else. Lieutenant Moreno makes visual contact first. A point of light. Ahead of him. Stationary. Then accelerating. Faster than anything his F-5E can follow. He pushes the throttle. The object vanishes. His radar picks it up again, behind him. They seem to be playing with us, he will tell investigators. Not afraid. Playing. Lieutenant Viriato Magalhães in the Mirage chases one object for 40 minutes. It accelerates instantly, stops, reappears elsewhere without transition. No exhaust trail, no sonic boom, no wake turbulence, no physics that made sense. When the jets get close, the objects disappear. When the jets back off, they return. 5 of Brazil's best pilots, state-of-the-art aircraft, live missiles, full authorization. For 3 hours, they chase lights across the Brazilian sky. None of them can touch what they're chasing. At 1 a.m., the objects simply leave, ascending at speeds the radars can't track, and then silence. At 1 a.m., the last radar contact faded. The pilots landed, and someone had to decide what to do with what had just happened. In 1986, Brazil was 3 years out of military dictatorship. A new civilian government was settling in. The Aeronautica operated with significant independence, and its leadership had just watched 5 of its best pilots spend 3 hours failing to intercept something that appeared on every instrument, on every screen, to be under intelligent control. The pilots had been recorded on radio. The radars had been running. There were tapes, logs, timestamps. All of it was evidence. And evidence has a way of becoming dangerous when it surfaces on someone else's terms. Brigadier Lima reviewed it himself. 5 matching testimonies, 3 independent radar stations. No divergence, no ambiguity. There was one version of events that every government knows by heart. Classify, contain, wait. Let the story die before it starts. The decision was made before sunrise, not because a journalist was close, not because a leak was imminent. No one outside the command had anything yet. The Aeronautica chose, while the choice was still theirs, to be first. No military in the world had made that choice before. None have made it since. At 9 a.m., Brigadier Octavio Morera Lima calls a press conference. Not a denial, not a closed briefing. A press conference. Cameras, journalists, evidence. He lays out the radar data, the pilot testimonies, the flight logs, all of it, public, on the record. He named each pilot, read their reports aloud. 5 men who chased the same lights and came back with the same story. The objects were solid, real, and they demonstrated clear signs of intelligent control. No government, not the United States, not the Soviet Union, not any military power in the world had ever said anything like this. Not publicly, not officially, not with evidence. Brazil did it in 1986, 36 years before the United States Congress would hold its first public hearing on unidentified aerial phenomena. Not leaked, not forced out, not classified for decades. No one had the story before they told it. They chose to tell it. Why would a military government do that? What had they seen that made silence impossible? Brazil spoke, and the world said nothing. Not skepticism, not a counter-argument, not a formal response from any government on the planet. The United States maintained a military attaché in Brasilia in 1986. Reports went back to Washington. Those reports exist. What they contain has not been declassified. What they concluded has never been shared. The Soviet Union had its own radar network tracking movements across South America. They would have detected anomalies consistent with what Brazil described. They too said nothing. No NATO member responded. No Allied intelligence service opened a parallel investigation. No International Aviation Authority issued a statement. The story ran in Brazilian newspapers for a week, then faded. Brazil had said on the record, with named pilots and verifiable radar data, that 21 objects of apparent intelligent design had spent 3 hours in its most restricted airspace. And the international community received that information the way governments receive things they cannot process, with silence. Not the silence of disbelief, the silence of institutions that had already decided what to do and what not to say, long before Brazil decided to speak. That silence is their own admission. Documents released in 2004 confirmed what the radar had already shown: speeds between 600 and 15,000 kilometers per hour, objects that accelerated from a standstill to hypersonic in under a second. That stopped mid-flight. That reversed direction without banking, without obeying any law of physics that governs anything we've ever built. The Mirage, one of the fastest jets on the planet at the time, couldn't close the distance. Not once. But the pilots noticed something that didn't make the official reports. The objects responded to the jets, not by fleeing, by adjusting, matching maneuvers precisely, maintaining exact distances, as if the jets were the subject of study, as if something was measuring what we were capable of. On the ground, thousands of civilians across São Paulo and Rio saw the same lights. Police stations flooded, from farmland, from highways, from rooftops. None of them coordinated, none of them military. All of them describing the same movements, independently. 21 objects, multiple radar systems, 5 military pilots, thousands of witnesses, one government that decided, the next morning, to tell the world. Governments don't do that unless something forces them to. What forced them? The objects haven't returned. Not officially. The radar data is real. The pilot testimonies are on record. The press conference is on tape. Every detail documented. Every pilot accounted for, everything confirmed. 21 objects moved through Brazilian airspace for 3 hours. And the government that watched decided, for reasons it is never fully explained, to tell the world. No other government followed. Not that year. Not the next. That decision is stranger than anything the radar showed.